Hi, everybody. Good, cool. I am in Richmond, Virginia, at my cousin's house, which is gorgeous. Yeah, we'll see if my cousin's dog comes back into the picture. Hope everybody's good. Let me scroll up some notes that I made. Yeah, so I just wanted to do an introduction about topic 10, which is sort of at the beginning of social control. And before that, though, I wanted to touch base about your language discussion posts, and then get you started on this next topic, which is really about, society, politics, and keeping order. And then that will close out this unit. So hopefully you'll be ready for the next test, which I'm pretty sure is on the 14th this summer. So I know, wow, test three already. So in a summer course, things come at you fast, right? Okay, but about the language posts, hopefully now you understand that the way people speak to you is every bit as culturally laden as what they say in terms of the actual words themselves, right? So language, or the words of language, is really only the tip of the iceberg, right, in terms of communication, which is conveying these much more complex ideas and thoughts. And those ideas really often use, manipulate, embody cultural symbols to convey a lot more than just language. Emily, I love the way you put it in your discussion post, right? You point out, like, and there's even judgment there. So I think that's really important, right? There's judgment about the symbols that you're sort of employing or deploying. Andrew, you had a discussion post where you mentioned that language helps negotiate power relationships. If you can, I would, maybe you could go back and just give us an example. Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't disagree with you. In fact, I probably agree with you. But I'm wondering if you could think of an example, Andrew, about how does language, or how has language ever helped you or someone negotiate power? That would be really interesting to read. A lot of you seem to be choosing the "Are we losing our regional distinctiveness?" question. And I think the consensus so far, this is early, but so far seems to be that it is happening, though maybe slower than these people 40 years ago thought. And you guys are offering really good explanations, I think. There's a couple of you who have talked about how maybe we're inventing new ways of communication, and I totally agree with that. A few of you, Andrew, this was your post, brought up music and social media. I like that. I'm not totally convinced that TikTok, for example, just to use TikTok as an example, causes people to lose regional distinctiveness. I do think TikTok has proved really good and amazing for exposing people to lots of different worldviews. And I realized this, what, about 2 years ago. My who was then 13-year-old started singing this 19th century sea shanty from New Zealand because of something he'd watched on TikTok, right? Anyway, and then a couple of you pointed out that maybe there are different kinds of distinctiveness besides geographical. It could be an age distinctiveness, or a social class kind of distinctiveness, and that maybe social media has caused those things to increase. Okay, so this next topic, which again is the last one before the test, gets you to look at society, politics, social control, power, and even hegemony. The last 3 years have been a really good time to be having these kind of discussions, because there are tons of interesting things going on in society right now. Abortion rights debates, the debate about what critical race theory means, rights for trans kids, whether we should teach about racial inequity in our schools, right? And then, just a year ago, it seems like we were coming out of this time period when there were protests about whether or not to wear masks in indoor public spaces. Um, so I just want to point out, remember that culture is full of symbols, right? And the collective meanings of those symbols are really important and are very often contested. So like the meaning of masks during COVID became really contested. Like for people on the left of the political spectrum, masks were a kind of, I would argue, kind of a sign of civic duty, right? A symbol of respect for science. And then there were things like shaming of the people who wouldn't wear masks, saying that and then they would not wear masks, saying that, impinged on their freedom as Americans. So on the right, wearing a mask became this almost symbol of weakness or fear or of government overreach, right? And there are all these examples that you can find of people in the right-wing Twitterverse of people wearing masks being ridiculed, right? So all of these things, reproductive rights for women, critical race theory, masks, rights for trans kids, all of these, I would argue, are sites and even events where society is having a debate about what kind of culture we want, right? What do these symbols really mean? What kind of society do we want to live in, right? There are really interesting formal discussions, and then there are really interesting informal discussions and informal conversations. It's what an anthropologist calls discourse, right, in society. So that's it. Good luck studying for the test. I said June 14th, but of course, that's just off the top of my head. I think you should check the schedule, but I'm pretty sure that's when it is. But check the schedule because that's sort of the most reliable date. As always, let me or your IAs, Chelsea Mia, know if we can help you understand anything. All right. That's it. Hope you guys have a great rest of the week and good luck on the next test. All right. Bye.